Edward Scissorhands, for me a masterpiece. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend you to do so. It's the 1/6 scale figure we are going to talk today. This figure was actually released back in 2009 by Hot Toys. It suffered from some pleather issues and the head sculpt, well, it's a bit outdated. So now we got two third-party companies doing this figure, and this one is the version done by Art Figures, which was just released, and we are going to take a closer look. Here we have our art box done by Art Figures. It's a very Tim Burton style, this art box, with our Edward here in the front. Looks really cool. And here on the side you still have him in other pose. Maybe idea for you later. In the back then we only have our warning and notice as usual. Inside, this is like a flap open box. You have our Edward there in the left. In the right you got our figure with some accessories that it comes with, and we are going to check the accessories first. You do have some belts that you will need later to assemble. This is the main belt that go onto his waist. You can see the buttons with the silver and golden color. This is like a pleather material, but is thick. I don't know how it will survive with the time. You do got as well 3 extra smaller belts that then we need to attach to his legs. The belts are all different, but they look quite okay. We got as well some scissors and blades that we will need to assemble ourselves. These are all made of plastic, so we really need to be careful with these, but they look okay. The paint application and there's some weathering, some scratch. I think they look quite okay. It's a normal peg. I think this will be easy to install. And then we got our display base that I really love. These wheels here are molded, they are not printed. I think they really look very cool. You got your crotch grabber as well there inside, but I didn't take it out. But this display base looks really good. Scissor ends here in the front. I do like the design they did on these. Taking a closer look now at our figure, and I'm trying here to play with the light because the light can ruin this head sculpt. You cannot see the scars very well, but believe me, this head in hands looks much better. I do love as well the way they did the hair. Looks like it's with some gel, because the effect is very good. The sculpt is really well done. I don't think the head sculpt is too big. Some people are saying I think it's just because of the hair proportion. I really like the head sculpt, and the scars they add into the face look really good. Moving on, we are going to check his outfit, and starting here with the boots. They are all sculpted, but I do like the weathering and the paint application they used on these. They are split cut, so you have more options for posing, which is always a plus, but I do like all the layers they add into here, and also the golden parts. They really look good. The left boot is a completely different design. It's all different, and I think this looks really cool. Being two different boots, there are some nice parts like these golden pieces. You got as well these pieces here that I need to remind you they are made of plastic. Take care with that. Then you got here the pants. Also two different materials between the left and the right side, and then you got these belts that we need to assemble by ourselves. I still didn't adjust them properly, but just to give you an overall look. But the belts you need to be patient because they are a bit difficult to assemble. Here you got a strap, and then in the crotch area you got here a lot going on. You got stitching, you got buttons, you got something like belts. I think they did this with a very nice detail. Here in the back, as you can see, you got a lot of more buttons, belts, you got all kinds of straps. This suit, it's a really special suit, and they use a lot of different materials with this suit. You got a different material on the back, you got different material on the arms. The arms material is like a plastic. I don't know as well how much it will endure with the time. And then you got the main belt that we need to assemble ourselves. And then here the shirt, you can see it goes up a bit. If happens with you, you just need to push it down so it will look better. This happens frequently when you move the head sculpt. But the suit I think looks really cool. Now passing here to the hands, you can see this is all sculpted, but I need to tell you that these knives, they are very sensitive and they are made of plastic, so I'm not going to play too much with them. You can move some of them, the ones you attached with those pegs, you can move them. Others are locked in place, but the scissors, mainly the scissors, you can move them up and down. Just be very careful because they are made of plastic, and this is my figure, I don't want to break it on the first unboxing I do. You really need to go with care when you touch these pieces, not to damage them, because they look really good. Both ends have these silver pieces that are hanging around, but they move as you move the hand, so I really need to test how much pose you still can do with this end and the blades and so on. As you can see here, I have one blade already shipped off, it fell down and lost a bit of the paint. I need to try to get a replacement. There are some ones you can move, you just need to go careful, test which ones you can move up and down, and then find the pose you like and just let it stay. That's really my recommendation for this figure. The blades do look really good, the paint application looks good, but they are made of plastic and you don't want to break them. I actually think you can do very good poses with this figure as long as you are careful with those blades. For the articulation, the head sculpt rotates pretty well. It has few movement going downwards because of the neck, but you can rotate it as you want. For the arms, you have good articulation. The material, I don't know how it will endure, so I'm not going to push too much because I've been wanting a Edward for my collection for many years. But the material seems it's okay, it's a bit thin, but I don't know what real material is this. Seems like a plastic material, I don't know if it's really pleather. You do have a good articulation in the torso, you can move it forwards or backwards without any problem. The body seems handling well. Let me just put here the arms not to mix with the blades. The legs are a bit restricted because of the suit, but you do have the usual double jointed knees. Not that I think you will really going to use them, I think this figure looks perfect at the museum pose. The feet then, of course, with a split cut boot you have a good articulation. Well, I think this figure looks really good. I do need to emphasize, you need to be careful with these blades because the plastic looks a bit too thin and I don't know yet how much articulation I can do in the hands for some posing. I'm okay with a good museum pose, but if we can do a bit more, it's always better. And here we have our Edward. After spending a few time with the figure, you can articulate the blades a bit more than I thought, as long as you are patient. I think this figure looks really good. I'm not sure if present toys will deliver a better Edward. I will keep this one because I really think it looks amazing. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed this review and I will see you in the next one.